Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the second half for the Walking Dead Season 9. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on some updates. We got some info about Jesus possibly returning in the second half. It'll make sense in a minute. And also the lawsuit that's going on between Frank Darabont and AMC, as well as a few other updates from some of the cast and crew. And spoiler warning if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to the end of The Walking Dead Season 9. So I'll put the links in the description to all of the different news items here so you can check these out. And we'll do some of your guys' questions as we get to the end of this this video. So continuing along with the Dead updates as we go, we're getting close to the holidays here now. We got about 11 days till Christmas. So hope you guys are having fun. Hope you're getting some, Christmas shopping done and all that stuff because we're starting to get close. So that's cool. And we do have some news for The Walking Dead. They're doing like those cons, the conventions, where you get some interviews with some of the different people that are involved, the cast and crew and stuff like that. So, so we got some new updates from some of the things that they've said, and the first one is for Jesus. So I think a lot of us had assumed that we had seen the end of Jesus, of course, in the mid-season finale there when he was, killed. So, of course, there's going to be him being brought back, so I guess maybe Tom Payne would return for at least episode 9 to be shown riding back on horseback to be buried, of course, shortly afterwards with his funeral. But it sounds like we might see even more of him than that because, as Tom Payne said, this is via FanFest, he said, quote, "As far as the next episode goes, there's a decision as far as what has to happen now," Payne said. They have Jesus' body. There's all these Walker whispers around them. And then there's the 6-year time jump with several mysteries like the X's. And Jesus might have a hand in a lot of that. There's a bit of time where we don't know what happened. So it sounds to me like he's kind of indirectly saying there that we're going to see him in the flashback sequences. So we'll have to see how many episodes they use kind of the flashback part for, where they explain the X's or we get to see what happened between Michonne and the Hilltop and the Kingdom, the different communities. They've kind of sort of given us a little bit about it where maybe some kind of minor villain or group sort of came into Alexandria or came into the communities and then turned out to be untrustworthy and turned on them all and, maybe scarred up Michonne and Daryl and possibly some of the others that we just don't know about. And it sounds like Jesus will be in that flashback. So we'll have to see how many episodes that actually is. But, like me personally, I had thought we basically had seen the final episode of Tom Payne as Jesus in The Walking Dead. But it sounds like no, he'll actually be in this back half, and maybe quite a bit considering that this is the last they'll be able to basically use him in the series aside from, possible future dream sequences or hallucinations or stuff like that. And I don't know if they necessarily use his character that much for those. He's not necessarily like a Shane or a Herschel type of character, but you never know. There are characters like Sasha as well, too, that have come back. So maybe they will. But it's kind of cool to hear this. And I'm thinking for the flashbacks, at least probably one episode. Maybe since it's a major flashback, maybe they do 2 or I don't want to say 3 because that would be a lot. But, maybe 1 or 2 episodes for the flashbacks. So I think we can probably expect to see Tom Payne as Jesus return for probably at least 2 episodes, maybe 3, and I think that would probably be the limit. That would be the end for him. But, those are still to see episodes, and that's coming up, so that's kind of cool to kind of think about forward and, and hear about. So the next one is about that lawsuit that's been going on for many years, and this one is pretty frustrating for people who've been following this one. If you guys have seen in the channel, I've been kind of covering this one as it's going through, because I think it's super interesting. As a fan of The Walking Dead, who's been watching the series since the series premiere, and even remember hearing about online the Walking Dead television series before it even aired, looking forward to it, having heard about Frank Darabont, having heard about what they were going to do with the Walking Dead TV series on AMC, and just really looking forward to it. Like, man, this is going to be cool to check out. Because this sounds like this is going to be really good and everything. And of course, obviously it was, a decade number of years later here now. It's crazy to think this is still going on. Like, this lawsuit is still, we're going to be in season 10. at the end of 2019, in a year from now, we'll be into halfway through season 10, and this thing is still going on. And from the sounds of things, it's going to trial apparently. So, so what does that mean? It probably means that it will be years more. So I don't know if I'm going to keep doing updates on this one. It's here now. Apparently, the judge and. Disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, all the different, and I'm also not, I'm Canadian actually too. So, it's even different in the States, I think, compared to here in terms of law and how all these things go through. But apparently it's going to trial, so you can read, link will be in the description so you can check it out. So it sounds like they were not able to kind of get a judgment or a ruling with the judge that was on the case all this time, because apparently from some of what I read, they're either retiring or something of the sort. Like they're not gonna be working in that position for much longer. So apparently it's being shifted and going to trial. AMC has proclaimed it a victory. They've put their hands up to say victory, but I don't necessarily know if that's true. But again, this is one of the crazy things, and this is for you guys in real life too. If you ever consider suing a big company, don't. You know what I mean? Or if you do, you better have either deep pockets to keep paying your lawyers year after year after year, or you'd have to sign up for one of those deals or whatever where the lawyers get a certain percentage, so it's incentivized for them to keep working on it to where you don't have to keep putting money in and in and in. Luckily, it sounds like Frank Darabont, obviously has done well throughout his career and everything, so he's going to be able to likely afford to keep doing this. But normal people like you and I, if something like this were to happen, where you had to, if you were going against a major company or something like that, or even a small size company that had some cash, let's say over $1 million, let's say in worth, or a few million, and you tried to sue them, they can just draw this goddamn thing out. They can just draw it out further and further and further. And even now, where they were trying to wrap this thing up, now it's going to go to trial. So it could be even longer than that, because they. It sounds like maybe the judge wasn't able to make a decision, or couldn't really come to a decision by herself, or just decided not to, or himself, whatever it is, to do that. So now it's going to go to them, and they're going to have to decide. And if you don't know what we're talking about here, basically, Frank Darabont, who created The Walking Dead, was suing AMC because of the profit sharing. Apparently, there was a deal where they were supposed to get a certain percentage, and it was and what they ended up getting was not what they thought. They ended up getting an imputed fee, which is like AMC, one wing of AMC, one left hand sells it to the right hand, and then the right hand gives an imputed fee for that show that they pay for, and then the people that were involved that probably thought they were going to get the overall share of what the show did ended up getting a share of the imputed fee rather than a share of the entire thing. Is it right? Is it wrong? Well, apparently it's not so easy to judge because they couldn't even decide, right? So now it's going to go to trial. You're going to let maybe a jury or whatever. I don't know. Or whatever. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm not a lawyer, so you got to look through it if you want. No, there's no Better Call Trev, right? That's what it is. So, and I'm not really taking sides here. I'm just saying that this is what happened. And so, Frank Darabont, as well as some of the other people that are also kind of jumping on as well too now, that want to sue them as well too for same kind of deal, thought they were probably going to get a percentage of the overall share of what The Walking Dead did. Instead, they got just an imputed fee. So it'll be years to come till we even find out what happens with that, and maybe season 12 or something, or 11. Who knows how long it'll take? Another couple years. I'll let you guys know when we get the eventual verdict for that one. But it's kind of crazy to think about, and it's something for us all to think about. If because you would be out of money. You know what I mean? To keep paying lawyers all the time. Like after a few years of paying lawyers to keep doing this and working on a case, after 3 or 4 years, you'd be all but broke, for normal people. You'd be, price of a house or two, to keep paying them and keep doing that. So it's crazy, right? But, so far, I don't know if I'd say AMC is winning right now. It's kind of hard to tell. They seem to act like they are, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. We'll have to see how it all turns out in the end. I think it's sort of just another stall in it, or another point, pivot point for it, but not even one where you can say that means that a certain party is winning right now. So read through the articles. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. The imputed fee, a trial. Then the next one is from Pollyanna McIntosh, who of course played Anne and Jadis, who said that she thought or she feared that she would be hated after the Rick Grimes, after what she did with Rick Grimes. So it says here, I found out 5 months before that I was leaving the show that I was going to be going off, and I was like, oh, bummer. And then in a conversation they said, but you're going to go in a way that I think you'll like. And it became a revelation that I was going to be taking him away. So McIntosh said at San Jose FanFest. That's really cool. So at first she probably thought she's being killed off like, everybody else. And then it's like, oh no, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And she probably didn't know what it was. And, to hear what it actually is like, man, she actually... for her character, what she was able to do, she lucked out. I mean, that is a huge time luck out. To be able to be the one to save Rick in his moment of need, I mean, that's like, you want to talk about elevating the character way further than she ever was before. I mean, that's awesome to be able to do that. That's something that fans will always remember, for her part in The Walking Dead and what she did, and of course in the movies now too. Says, and when I originally heard that in conversation, I thought, I'm going to be really, really hated. Like, that's scary. And then I thought, that's kind of thrilling, actually, because what a new, strange experience. So everybody has hated, I'll just say it this way, basically everybody has hated Jadis up until now, right? And up until now. Even with Father Gabriel, right up until like the last moment when she realizes what's going on with Rick, and we find out that she hadn't actually traded Father Gabriel. So she's definitely a character that maybe more than any other character I've ever seen has switched teams more than ever. She's gone from, seemingly ally, villain, ally, maybe villain, ally again, and then ally to start season 9, and then villain with Gabriel, and then back to ally again. She has just gone back and forth in terms of like good guy or bad guy so many times. It's unbelievable. Anne ultimately rescued a severely wounded Rick after he washed ashore following his last stand at the bridge, which he exploded to halt an approaching horde of walkers. Though Rick is believed dead by those closest to him, he was quietly scooped up for a helicopter ride to an unknown destination, a story to play out in the first Walking Dead movie. And then it says again, quote, as I actually read the script, when it came close to the time, I realized, it's not her being bad, it's actually her being really good. And it was a huge release. So it sounds like the actress wants to, she wants to be a good guy, right? It's what she wants, and she's gone back and forth so many times she doesn't even know the difference, right? Probably couldn't even know the difference until she finally figured it out after. And then I was like, oh, I don't get to be hated and all and stuff. I was getting interested in that, but it was also kind of really exciting. And to be honest, I just felt really, really lucky. I felt really lucky and excited to get to do it. We all love Andy so much, so to be part of that in that way was really thrilling. So, and then there's a little bit more to, there's a lot of thank yous for her saving Rick, I guess, that kind of thing. So, yeah, as to be expected. So she gets to go out like a hero in the end as far as the Walking Dead TV series goes. So that's like, for a character like Anne or Jadis, I mean, that's more than the character deserves. Nothing against the actress or anything, but that's definitely more than the character deserves. But it's good for her, so that's great. And I look forward to seeing what they do with her in the movies. And yeah, man, it's gonna be good. And then the next one is from Caitlin Nacon, who of course plays Enid, who said that she won't be happy that Negan's free. I just read it and I was like, oh, Enid's gonna find Negan. You know what I mean? She's gonna track down Negan. It's like, oh my god, it's so scary, right? Negan's gonna be terrified. Although if she has a gun, then it could be a deal. But I'm sure he'd be able to talk her out of it. But it's true that Negan wasn't directly responsible for Carl's death, but it just happened during All Out War. So it's not like Negan was the one who sent the walker there to do it or something. He didn't whisper or send the walker in to kill Carl or something. It just happened during All Out War. So she can blame Negan for it because of all of the steps that led up to it. I guess you could say he's the big bad guy. So the fact that Carl died during that time, she can pin it on him, that kind of thing. But it's like, whatever, I don't know. And we'll just do, a couple questions for today's video, guys. You can send me any others you have, as we get closer to the next season. I'll add them, and we'll do them, each dead update here as we go through. M Chronicle says, what I still don't understand? Why in the first episode of The Walking Dead did the little girl that starts off the show, the little walker zombie girl, why does she pick up the teddy bear as a walker? Aren't walkers just infections preying upon corpses? Aren't walkers supposed to be unconscious? So this is the idea of the smart walkers, which we haven't touched on for many years now because they basically don't do it anymore. I actually like it. It's actually, so this is the deal of what happened. When season 2 came out, there was a walker who smashed the glass with a big rock, if you guys remember this one. And, like a lot of us have said, like I said in my review the same night, because I've been doing this back into season 1 and 2, right? I said that walkers don't do that. And so they kind of stopped doing that. Like they kind of stopped doing the smart walker thing. Not that necessarily had anything to do with me, but just that I think we all kind of had said, like, isn't that weird that they would pick up, like you would pick up a rock, this kind of thing. But, I mean, it depends, because it depends on the way you look at walkers, right? George Romero, his original Night of the Living Dead and everything, it depends which movie you watch, but if you consider them all to be his universe, so the zombie apocalypse in the Dead movies is his universe, there are some smart walkers. If you look later on, Land of the Dead and that, there's walkers that, for example, there's the one walker who is, I think, a gas station attendant, and there's the butcher walker who picks up a butcher knife and starts hacking away, and he's still a walker, but it's a familiar task to him because it's what he does all the time with the butcher knife, right? It's his job all the time, monotonous over and over and over again. So when he becomes a walker, he just goes into that thing and he does the same thing. So I think that's kind of cool, and they don't really do it anymore. Nowadays they don't really have the odd smart walker around. Probably because people thought, like, that's not what zombies do. Zombies are supposed to be unconscious and they're not supposed to do anything. That's one interpretation of it, and that's kind of true. Yeah, in pop culture, you don't think of zombies as being that intelligent. But I do like the idea of kind of a few smart walkers here and there, like Bub, the zombie in Day of the Dead, Bub. And the teddy bear girl zombie, right? Very cool. There's actually like a Halloween thing you could buy of her from years ago. It's like a Halloween thing, and like I think it walks around. I looked at it, but it was like $500. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that for that. I like it, but I don't like it that much. It's not that cool. Plus, it's kind of gross to have around your house. You have this little zombie girl that has like a remote walk around thing. I don't know, but I thought it was awesome, man. The teddy bear girl zombie at the beginning, and I almost kind of wish they would throw in a smart walker here or there. I think that could be cool, especially when you have the whispers kind of going on. It could add another dimension to where you're like not sure about some of the walkers. But that's basically what happened with that, is that they have the smart walker idea, which George Romero does do as well sometimes in certain movies. Depends on which one you watch and which parts you're watching. But then at the same time, you have the concept of just your dumb walkers that just all do the same thing and all kind of, do whatever. Like there are almost none that will climb a ladder, for example, but in season 1 you have certain ones that will try to work their way up a ladder to get to food or something. So, the teddy bear girl zombie, really cool. I'm not going to say it was a plot hole or it was a mistake. If you want to read into it, you could probably say it this way. When walkers first turn, when they're fresh walkers, maybe there's some more things happening and there's more of them there. And then as they decay more over time, they become more and more soulless, or they become more and more unconscious to where, they're just operating on, deep level of the brain, like Jenner was saying, like the brain stem off of just the very primal instincts. Like even climbing a ladder for them would be too complicated later on. So I like that kind of concept or that idea. That's kind of my own, I guess, way of understanding it, is that the walkers were kind of smarter after they first turned, and then after time went on, they start to just drone in more and more to the point where they're not smart enough to pick up a teddy bear that gives them comfort, or to pick up a rock to smash glass, or to climb a ladder, or to do stuff like that. So that's kind of the That's kind of the idea. So for you, M Chronicle, I hope that makes sense for you. That's the best explanation I can basically come up with, right? And then we'll do just one more for today. The Lone Wolf said, LMAO, when ratings fall so low, they have to bring back dead characters to keep it going for Fear of the Walking Dead because of the news for Troy and Daniel to return. Well, we'll see, man. Maybe they got something cool in mind for Troy. He is one of the coolest characters I think that they have from Fear. And they got to do something. You know what I mean? They had the big crossover in Season 4. Now they have some big returns for some of the characters. And, as much as it's a little bit maybe loose in terms of the realism that he would still be alive and that he would still find a way back there, we don't know the circumstances, and we don't know if, if he's going to be the same kind of person or if he's going to be a shell of his former self. And maybe could make a really good villain. So we'll see. Anyway, that'll be it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, bottom left to subscribe. Thank you guys all for subscribing. Thank you guys all for the support. And I'll see you again soon. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.